Yo, I don't have a new beat machine to review this time. I have an oldie but a goodie. My mortal enemy. This boy right here, MPC 2000xl. This boy right here.
You big dummy. You're a big dummy there. I'm not kidding you. You're a big dummy.
I've never really done a video on a 2000xl. Well, I guess my very first MPC video, it was really about the Live 2. I haven't booted this boy up in like 6 months. Let's see if this works. Oh, it lives. The reason I say that the MPC 2000xl is my mortal enemy is because everyone I've ever purchased, I've always had an issue with. First one I purchased had a floppy drive, screen was broken on it. I knew all of that in the beginning. But then when you get it, there's always a button that doesn't work, a pad that doesn't work. So I have to end up, getting a new pad sensor, soldering new buttons here and there. And with this one, it was the exact same, but I paid more money for this. Like if you pay around $500, $400 to $500, you're getting an MPC 2000xl that usually has an issue with. This I paid $750 for, and it was advertised as fully functional. But when I got it, the slider didn't work. And I didn't even know that until like months later when I was trying to trim a waveform using the slider and the shift button, and I noticed that it didn't work. So I ended up having to solder new slider, the directional buttons, the cursor buttons. I had the bottom one didn't work. Like you can hear, these are the OEM buttons here that come straight from the manufacturer. Barely hear them click. I soldered this new button on. Hear how loud that is, and you have to press it with a little force too. But everything works on it now.
I'll spell it for you. D-U-M-M-Y, period.
The MPC 2000xl, Kanye's favorite, well, the old Kanye's favorite MPC. I don't know what that new Kanye is using. Q-Tip's favorite MPC. So many producers learned on this MPC. It was the most popular MPC. It sold the most. And let me see. I don't know if I've ever made a good beat with this boy. And some of y'all would even say I've never made a good beat, period. So, thank you, YouTube. This boy sounds great. And I know they say there's no color to the sound of the 2000xl, but I beg to differ. I think the low end on this sounds great. It doesn't sound as good as the 3000 or the 60, but I think it sounds great, man. Pros. It was the first MPC with time stretching. I initially thought the time stretching takes a long time, but as I boot this boy up and I made a couple beats, time stretching, it's really not that bad. This boy is fast. Everything is just there. First MPC with the auto chop function. First MPC with the waveforms for your samples. And I know you purists are gonna say, hey, you don't need that. You can chop by numbers or by sound or by ear. I like to see my waveform. You can chop and trim it visually. First MPC to work with wave sounds, and probably wasn't a big deal then. It's a big deal now because sound files, if you use the older MPCs, they only work on the sound files. SND, not send sound. It has a smaller footprint than the 3000 and the 60 and the 62. Looks great. I prefer the beige version, like this shirt. A lot of people like the blue better. I think the blue was the advanced version, came with the 8 outs. This one doesn't have the 8 outs. And I don't know if it's worth paying. Like, I see them for $300, $400. Cheapest I saw was like $250. I don't know if it's worth it. Sample time came with 2 megabytes of RAM, expandable to 32 megabytes, fully upgraded. It gives you 386 seconds of sample time mono. I think it's half that for stereo. Cons: because they cut down the size of it, they couldn't fit all of the buttons from the 3000 onto this machine. So there's a lot of functionality that's hidden behind menus in this. It has a smaller screen than the 3000 and the 60. And even, especially mine, because my 3000, my 60 had those very large screens. And a con for me, because I have the 2000 Classic too, is doesn't have the jog wheel of the 2000. I like that jog wheel more than the jog wheel on the 2000xl. All right, let's get a drum loop in here. Man, that's loud. Vibrating everything. All right, one last loop and chop. Everything takes a little while. I have to go make some tea while I be doing stuff sometime. Oh, don't want to waste that on the MPC. That would ruin my day. All right, trim. Sound 26. Let's get a for real intro going. 1 bar truncate, and we're gonna go. get this song mode going. As far as I've gotten with this. So let's go. In conclusion, my thoughts on the 2000xl are highly unfounded and very personal. It's just me having to pull out the soldering iron, having to fix every one I've bought. And one I just gave up on after I fixed one of the buttons on it, the whole panel for the pads. None of it worked. I ended up selling it and getting some store credit for it. Just to buy, I think I bought the 4000 with that. I traded a broken MPC 1, a broken Live 2, and a broken MPC 2000xl. And I think I added maybe 500 to 800, something like that. I'll have to go check to get this 4000 right here. And I already had another 2000xl too, so.
Listen, dummy, didn't you hear me call you a dummy? You too dumb to know how to get mad when I call you a dummy. Dummy.
And that's another thing that I'm getting tired of. You calling me a dummy.
But the only reason I call you a dummy is because I call them as I see them.
I guess it worked out for me. The machine is great. It's really a stripped down 2500. The only function that I wish it had that the later MPCs had is a grid editor. I know a lot of people don't really use an MPC for a grid editor, but sometimes I do if I want my sample. If I'm chopping a sample, a melodic sample, and I want to make them equal lengths, sometimes I can't get tap that pattern just right, so I use the grid editor for that. All in all, save yourself some money if you can.
Sold to the dummy with the black mustache.
Perfectly passable MPC. You know, I hate I talked all that crap about it because it's really great. This is a redo. This is a do-over for the 2000xl. It's a great machine. I'm sorry I ever dissed you. Thanks for watching.
PS again. Bye, dummy.